Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Ford Ads podcast episode with your host Don Julio and myself, Teeds. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed a lot of good golf. College football's back, NFL starting. A lot
Yeah,
of things are starting to happen. Plus, the President's Cup's coming up on the golf world as well. And uh, again, always thank you guys for all your support. Don Julio and I will actually be playing a round of golf somewhere in the Central Valley next weekend. So we're hoping to get some new footage of us playing out together. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
yeah,
it won't be too bad of weather. It should be cooling down a little bit. So it won't be too crazy heat wise.
yeah,
So
yeah, man. I'm excited. I know it's been long overdue, and you know, um, it's just been something that has just needed to happen to redeem ourselves after the debacle that we had at Carmel Valley Ranch.
yeah, and it's not going to be that windy either. So that
Dude,
it's going to be a little bit more.
yeah. I mean, again, like you know, uh, for those of you who have played it, like it is not a long course, but that wind, those small greens, it kind of beats you up if you're not playing good target golf.
Hmm.
Um, and that was just where we were just getting in trouble. And also, again, it was my first real time like actually playing and filming with a huge camera. And I think we talked about it before too. It's just like it's two different things that you got to focus in on. Like you got to focus on hitting your shot. Then it's
Hmm.
like, okay, that was a great shot. Now I'm just gonna go back to the golf cart and relax. Like, no,
Right.
hold on, gotta film the next guy, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Once
it's
it's one of those things like once you get the routine down, it's
yeah,
not that big of a deal because you know what to click, where to aim, where
yeah,
to shoot, like how long to go. But once you're getting into it, like anything else, there's gonna be a little bit of a transition period.
yeah,
And if your mind is constantly used to just hit my ball, see my ball, okay, thinking about my next shot, get to the
yeah,
ball, hit the shot, and then but then now that gets interrupted, just like anybody else, it's gonna mess with you a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but like enough for you to even notice that like I maybe came up to the ball and was thrown off a little bit, or it just I wasn't all in it. Like because you're like you said, you're playing two different people, right? You're playing a player plus you're playing a videographer at the same time. So
yeah,
you got to put on those hats, take off those hats, and it's not that difficult. But again, there's always a transition. I know I was talking to I don't know if you see on Instagram, but Jay Hearns.
yeah.
He's a guy he has all posts all the time, and I actually met him at Dragonfly maybe like a month or so ago. Really
Nice.
nice guy, and he was saying that like he texted me or he messaged me on our Instagram saying like today's gonna be the day. I'm gonna record every shot. I'm gonna see how I do. And he's like, I only got to like the eighth hole, and my iPhone like overheated because he was playing in the afternoon in the summer, and I'm like in my head like, well, yeah, I mean it's an iPhone. It's not really meant for only shooting, especially high quality that kind of stuff always. But he's like, I was able to do it, and it just threw me off a little bit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll do it.
Hmm.
But just like anything else with time and repetition, you'll get used to it. But yeah, hopefully that
Yeah,
doesn't
man.
play a factor. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, we just got to find somewhere to play first. I mean, if
True, true.
any of
That
you guys, if any of you guys who are in the Central Valley area are at a country club, Copper River, San Joaquin, um, Sunnyvale, Fort Washington. Um, am I missing anything else?
Fort Washington, Sunny Side, Belmont.
Sunnyside, Belmont. If any of you guys
Uh,
are,
yeah, I
would
think.
love to, if any of you guys want to have us out, would love an invitation.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'll be a
Yeah,
great time. But let's jump into things really quickly. PGA Championship or the Tour Championship
tour
finished.
championship. Yeah,
And to be honest, I thought it was still $15 million tour championship or whatever, prize. It was $25 million
hmm
for I was like, oh my gosh, dude, that's insane. $25 million.
hmm
Like from I think it was like 10 a few years ago. And then obviously with Live kind of bumping prices up, like 25 million is a lot of money. I think the second place got what 15 or 10 million. Like
yeah.
I didn't realize that they were paying out that much. That's
Well, the
insane.
purse was $100 million
It's freaking
with
crazy.
with 30 players, everyone that was in.
Made at
Like,
least a million, huh?
yeah, I mean, dude, that's insane. But I don't know, man. Watching the tournament, from the first day, like it was just a Scottie show. I mean, he didn't play his best the first day,
Mm-hmm.
but he had a couple bogeys here and there, but I mean, he didn't lose sight of the lead the entire time, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just impressive to see, though. I know I've been giving him a tough time over the last few weeks or few months. But Morikawa, he definitely made it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
played some good golf that, like, I did not expect him to be that low. And even I think
I
was
don't think he
just,
expected it.
yeah, well, yeah, no, and not even, yeah. And that's not without saying, he's been off this year, hasn't really played too well. But, you also have, um, who else was playing well? Justin Thomas played pretty decently,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
mean, I think the biggest highlight of the whole weekend was Sahith Theegala.
Dude,
In that, what was it? Was it the third round or the final round?
I
Fires
think it
off
might
like
have been the final.
yeah, he fires off like a 62 or something like that.
Let me
Was
see
that?
here. So he's the Gala 64
Hmm.
with, on top of that, um, penalizing himself,
Yeah.
from something that I don't even think you could even see on the camera, and taking a 2-shot penalty, which was a bummer, but that would have tied him with Morikawa.
Hmm.
But yeah, like, Scottie shot an average of 66 all weekend. So I think that was it a par 71 or 70 there.
Couldn't tell you, man.
Mm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
regardless, I mean, you know, Morikawa played really well. Let's see. Did Justin Thomas? Yeah, Justin Thomas the first day, dude. First day shot a 66, which
Yeah.
I was not expecting. And I mean, Victor played okay. Rory kind of was like very quiet, did not play amazing. Like, not bad, but not as well as everybody else played. Um, I mean, Tom Hoagie, who you kind of expected to be last, no offense to him, ended up being last, shooting a 3 over. Him and Christian Bezenaut, they ended up
Hmm.
3 over, which I think were the only two people to shoot over par. Um, but I mean, overall, yeah, like you said, Scottie, wire to wire, even with Morikawa on his heels. He
Yeah.
was just, oh, sure, 600. Well, I shot a 500. I had a 10-stroke lead, so it doesn't really matter to me. Like, cool, keep trying. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you shot a 500. Well, I did too. So you got to make up like 10 shots somehow. And
Hmm.
he just kept his foot on the gas this time. Didn't let anyone get really too close to him. So I was, like, what were you saying about Scottie Scheffler earlier? You were telling me offline about his scoring record or something
Oh
crazy.
yeah. So he broke another one of Tiger's season scoring records. I think Tiger was at 67.7 for one of his years, or 68.7. No, 67. Yes, he was 67. And then Scotty came in finishing out this year with an average of 67.1. So Tiger holds like five of the lowest scoring averages in a row. And so Scotty broke another one.
That's crazy, dude. Like, when
Yeah, I mean,
you like, if you just put up a regular person that just doesn't really pay attention to golf, but like they understand, like, a nice swing, right? You can tell when someone's
mhm,
just, especially in any sport, you can tell someone who just, you watch them play and you're like, okay, this guy, I don't know much about the sport, but it looks like this guy is really good just by watching how he plays. Whether it's a
yeah,
basketball, their shot, very pretty shot. For golf, has a very pretty swing. You put up Tiger Woods in his prime, his swing, to Scottie Scheffler's swing right now in his prime, and you're like,
mhm,
oh yeah, dude, Tiger's got him beat, dude. There's no way that the dude on the left is winning. Moving those feet like that, consistency, kind of like
yeah,
the Hunter Pence of golf, where you're like, don't watch how he plays. He's like the exception to the rule, that it
yeah,
works for him, and it might work for you, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. But it works for him, and anytime he swings a club, kind of like Matthew Wolf, it's like, okay, like, cover your kid's eyes. Don't watch
yeah,
this. Watch where the ball goes, but don't try to replicate that, especially with all those little those little memes that went out when people were trying to like replicate Scottie Scheffler and like breaking their ankles, just like
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to mess with his swing.
No,
That's
totally,
wild,
man.
dude.
I mean, okay, we're nowhere near that, but I mean, like, could you imagine just stepping onto really any course, knowing that you're number one in the world and you're averaging a 67, like
On the
as your
toughest conditions, you know,
on the toughest conditions?
not like you're playing at freaking Madeira Muni, you know, or
Yeah,
Riverside.
yeah.
But yeah, that's wild.
I mean,
That is insane from the tips.
yeah. What? So I mean, if you're playing a 72 par course, right? I mean, 67. That's what eight. Uh, no,
Well,
that's
that'd be
five.
5 under
Yeah,
if
five
that's the
under.
average. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
and that's an average.
that's in,
That's not
that's
like the best, the worst. That's like
yeah,
right in the
that's
middle.
average, but still, that's incredible, dude. Like, just to think about, like, when I think about myself, like, where do the majority of my strokes come from, right? I'm a one handicap right now, which means that I have at least one hole where I just blow up, right?
Hmm.
Or I just have one bad scoring hole.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about it, it's always where I get into the most trouble is off the tee box, right? If I miss my drive, which typically is right, it gets real tough for me to kind of figure out where to go, because it's either I bury it at OB or I put it into some trees and I got like this I got a superhero shot I got to take, right? Um, and that's where I end up hurting myself. It's typically always on like a par four. Par fives.
Mm.
I mean, according to the NCGA or my gin, I I play every par five at a -1. So
Well, I mean, think
you
about
know,
it. You have more chances, especially with your power,
yeah,
to make it on the green in three
yeah,
every time. Every time, no matter how far it is, 550, 570. You know, like those are extremely far par fives. But if you have to play for those on the tips for you,
hmm
you're like, okay, well, like I know I can get there in 3 shots at the worst. I'm probably
yeah,
gonna reach at the front, maybe or on the green in two, giving
hmm
myself a chance. So if I go for it and I miss it, I'm short, I'm bunker side, I'm still going to be up and down, potentially for a birdie, maybe 2 foot for par, worst case scenario. But when you're on a par four, that drive now becomes more vital, because if you
yeah,
miss the fairway, you know, on a par five, it's like, okay, well, even if you're underneath trees, just punch it out like 150 yards
yeah,
underneath trees. You know, let it roll all day, and you're fine. Set yourself up for maybe a 9 to a pitching wedge or a wedge going in,
hmm
scoring club, you're good to go. But on a par four, no matter what it is, unless it's like a drivable one, you put yourself right at the fringe, you're going to have to make sure that you have to put it in the fairway. And if you don't, then you're going to give yourself a lot more difficult shot. How often do you punch your shots 100 to 150 yards, and you know that it's just going to roll up to the green perfectly to about 10 to 15 feet. Like, it's so hard to stop the ball when you're just
yeah,
punching it under something, or again, a hero shot. So there's more pressure, I feel like, on the par fours for a lot of people compared to
yeah.
par fives, because that extra shot does kind of relax you a little bit.
You know which holes bother me the most is par threes.
Me too. I was gonna say for me too, dude. Because
The
like if you're not on the green, dude, like it's tough for the up and down. It's so
hmm
annoying. No matter
Well,
the closest or farthest, it doesn't matter. They're all par threes are hard.
yeah, I was gonna say, so like, the average distance here at Foxtail is like 150, right? 150, and it's like, dude, I hit money shots from 150 all day. Why is it that
Mhm.
it's so difficult for me to just put it middle of the green on this par three, right?
Yep.
I should like it's the most annoying thing ever. I think the third hole is the longest one at 170,
Okay.
175, right? And then you go to number 6, which is 100. If it's middle of the green, it's
Hmm.
149.8 on the dot. If it's to the left side, it's like 140. If it's in the back, it's a 150 shot,
Well, I
right?
mean,
Front.
Eminem said it best. Like, you got one shot, one opportunity. He
Yeah.
sees everything he
Yeah.
ever wanted. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, dude. It's more pressure because now you don't have 2 shots to get on the green. You have 1 shot to get on the green if you want to score.
Yeah. But let me ask you this.
Mhm.
How many times do you step up to a par three being like, I gotta try and make this for a hole in one? How many times and
The shorter ones, I'm like, oh my gosh, like here we go. Okay, like 140 and in, I'm like, okay, like it could happen. You know,
yeah.
the long ones, I'm like, just get it around the green, man. Just get it around the green. Like 190 plus, I'm like, just get it around the green, away from a bunker if possible. In a bunker is not
Yeah.
the end of the world, but like it'll make a scoring shot for me more difficult. But yeah, the shorter ones, I'm like, here we go. Because I remember when we
Yeah.
played with what was it? Back up north, Fairfield,
Oh,
Rancho
yeah,
Solano.
yeah, Rancho
You're
Solano.
like, this is the hole in one hole. And ever
Yeah.
since then, every one inside like 150, I'm like, here's the hole in one hole. Okay. And
Yeah.
then every time, 0.2 seconds after hitting the ball, nope, not this time.
No good. Yeah. No, man. I like, and I'm curious too. Like, I'm curious for the viewers. Like, how many of you are imagine yourself making a hole in one going into the shot, just putting unnecessary pressure compared to just being like, I'm not even gonna look at the pin. I know the center of the green is 160. I'm gonna
Hmm.
club up, take a smooth swing, and just take my two putt or drain it. Right.
Yeah. Right. I
And
mean,
that's like I got a buddy that I play with all the time. He will hit the same club on every par three. He'll take his 8 iron, and if it's under 150, it's a punch and he's on. If it's over, it's a full swing and he's on. If it's in between, he tries to like put a little draw, put a little cut, right? All these different things. He's constantly moving the ball, but he always hits an 8 iron. He's like, just tell me the
wow.
number, and he's got 8 iron in hand always.
Jeez. That's crazy, dude. I know I've had 2 swings in the last like maybe 2 years that I hit it, and I was recording both of them, so I have both of them. But like, I was like, oh my gosh, like this actually could. And I'm like, no, it's me. Like, there's no way it's gonna go in. And like, you go back and I have the videos, and I'm like, dude, like that thing was tracking the whole way. Like it
Yeah.
was kind of like, oh crap, like this could actually happen. And they both ended up within like a foot to 2 feet. And that's probably the closest I've been. I saw today you posted something, I think on Facebook or maybe another day. You have 3 hole-in-ones, so I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll ever reset. So good for you, dude. That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
So happy
No,
for you.
dude, this guy that I play with, his name's Lane Park. He had posted that same kind of like, that same kind of tread or
Mhm.
post that I did. He has
Oh
eight.
my.
And one of them I witnessed during a skins game, which was like unreal. Like I've witnessed a lot in my playing years. Crazy story, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but Corey knows this because we were working the same day, and we had our member guest when we were both working at Boulder Ridge.
Mm.
And I was playing in a member guest at Boulder with I think it was a buddy. Who was I playing with? I think I was playing with this kid, Jamil, Jamie, something like that. But he didn't have a partner, and so he had signed up last minute. And so my pro said, "Hey, go play with him." Right. So we go. We're on the 10th hole at Boulder Ridge, which is a downhill. It's like
Mm.
386 yards on the card. But if you take the corner, it's literally only like downwind. It's probably like a 290, 300 yard carry. And if you're
Really?
long, it's okay because if the pin's in front, there's like a spine, and so it comes all the way back down and just funnels right to
Oh,
the
okay,
hole.
okay. Man.
And it's because if you hit the fairway on that hole, you're sloped like this.
It'll come right back down to the green. If you go
Yeah.
over the
So
top,
it
it'll
come.
come right down.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hit I hit a driver, perfect cut.
Really?
I hit a driver, perfect cut out towards the range, and it comes back in. And like I'm like, I looked at the kid that I was playing with, and I was like, dude, that's hit really good. I think we're going to be on, right? So then he hits his shot. Then the next two guys hit with us, right? And then all of a sudden we're coming down, and all the maintenance guys are like right there, and so they're clapping like, yeah, who hit that shot? Who hit that shot? Because we heard someone roar, but on top of the hole is the number 11th hole, which is a par three. So we thought, oh, maybe someone
Mm,
got close. So we heard a bunch of people like celebrating. The maintenance guys go like, someone's in the hole, and we're like, what? And we go look, everybody just drove up, and sure enough, there's my ball. So that
no
was
way.
that was that was my first hole in one,
A
and then I
par
got,
four.
yeah, a par four downhill,
What?
just nailed it, albatross. And so, and then my next two came from a par three course that I would go and just do some practice. It was called Mariners Point. Made one on the ninth hole over the water, just little knockdown pitching wedge, and just hits and goes in. And then I had one on the second hole, which was like a little dog leg right. I used the ocean breeze to bring it back, but there's like a
Mhm.
little ridge right there that you can't see, and it went in. I I don't really I don't really claim those two because I wasn't playing with anyone when those happened. So
Dang. But
yeah,
still, dude, a par four. I mean, just to hear that you use driver on a potentially 290-yard downhill, downwind par four. Were you like 190 pounds then, or what? Like, why were you going driver with such a?
because I hit the ball super high. Like
So I
I
was gonna say, like, for me, just hearing that, depending on how lower it is, I probably would have gone 7 wood. Let it carry up in the air, let the wind take it, and it would just fly. I've hit like
I
295 with my 7 wood the wind. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I I I would hit the ball super high back then, and it was because I was so wristy. Like I literally would throw my hands, and you would see like club face went from being like a 7-degree driver to like a 12-degree driver because I'm just hitting up right underneath it and just going. So um, that was the only reason why I hit it. I mean, I haven't been 190 since probably like I don't even know, dude. But
We're gonna
it's
keep
it's been a
talking about
long,
that off
yeah, it's been a long time since I've been 190.
it. That's so sick though, dude. But
Yeah.
dude, that's wild. That is wild. But let's jump in and out. The President's Cup teams were chosen, and I mean, I don't know if you saw the full roster of teams, but no surprise, no live players were taken. Kind of a bummer because I was hoping that since we had a few people go to live, that things would change, especially on the USA side, since USA is playing in both President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, compared
Hmm.
to Europe is only Ryder. I think the rest of the world is pretty much the President's Cup, so they didn't really have to do one. But the fact that we didn't take DeChambeau, really probably the main dude that you would want on the team, honestly, that I thought would be pretty cool, is kind of a bummer. I mean, you got Wyndham Clark, Scottie Scheffler, obviously, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Sahith Theegala, Keegan Bradley, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Brian Harmon, Russell Henley, and Max Homa. I mean, did you see the roster of the what are they? The international side? What are they called? Yeah, international. Do you see the roster of them?
I didn't.
So they got Hideki Matsuyama, Sung J M, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, Jason Day, Byung Ben Han.
Young Sung from
I've
Kicking and
already
Screaming.
decided if the pizzas do not arrive, we will eat Byung Sung.
Yeah,
No,
what?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But he does look pretty good, though, if we had to eat somebody, right?
Yeah. I love that
uh,
part. He just looks over like, what?
he takes his seat back. He sits his chair back. So they got Christian Behuzet out. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Corey Connors from Canada. Mackenzie Hughes, I believe, from Canada as well. Taylor Pendrith. Min Woo Lee. I think he's sponsored by, what is it, Lululemon.
Lululemon.
And,
Yeah,
yeah. And Si Woo Kim. So I don't know how this one will turn out. I'm actually not even sure where it is playing. Do you have any idea where it's playing this year?
I don't. Let me
Oh my
see.
goodness. Are we out
There's
of
tickets up for
touch?
sale. Oh, it's playing at the. It says President's Cup will return to the Royal. What is it? To the Royal Montreal Golf Club.
Dang, it's in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, That'll be epic. Montreal, probably a little cooler, probably in late September. Is that when it is? Is that what are the dates?
September 24th and 29th.
Oh man, hope it doesn't get cold too quickly out there. But that's near-ish. I think just past Buffalo, right on the border. Is it
Yeah.
Montreal? I think so.
I
No,
couldn't tell
Toronto.
you.
I'm thinking of Toronto. I'm thinking of Toronto. Toronto's right there, I think.
Yeah.
But that's pretty crazy. I mean, what do you think about not picking anyone from any live guys? Because you also have Cam Smith potentially that could have been picked.
It's just getting annoying, man. Like there's
I
so
agree.
much there's so much good talent that's over there at Live, and it just seems like because these guys decide to go to another tour, like they're just dismissing how good these guys are. I mean, John Rahm's not even on the team. I
Well, John Ropp, I don't think he's eligible for it because he's from Spain. So keep that in mind.
oh
That's why I was trying to say about the writer and the presidents, whether there's two
oh yeah
separate
yeah
teams compared to USA.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
But still, I don't know. It's just getting annoying. Like I think
Yeah.
the one real question, even with again, I've said this, and I know this is gonna kind of
Ruffles and feathers.
ruffle some feathers and make some people upset. But it's like, yes, Scottie Scheffler is absolutely dominating the tour right now. But if we're seeing John Rahm there, we're seeing Cam Smith, we're seeing a healthy Brooks Koepka, we're seeing Bryson DeChambeau. Like, does he still dominate the way he does? And a lot of people be like, well, look at all the majors. That's four times out of the year that he's seeing those guys compared to like a
Mm-hmm.
tournament where Scottie wins the Masters, and here comes the next tournament, and you know Brooks blows out the whole entire field, or then the following is you got Bryson who comes in and just dominates. Like I just don't see the consistency. I don't feel that Scotty would be seeing the consistency of wins that he's seeing,
I agree.
with those guys there. It's just that I mean, especially with Bryson DeChambeau, dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
that guy is completely changing the game. I mean, when we talk about influential players right now, the
Yeah.
conversation is definitely between Bryson DeChambeau and Scottie Scheffler, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having the non-ideal golf shot, but still being able to make perfect contact and get the results, to a guy who is so fundamentally sound and just brute strength to just absolutely dominate golf courses. And the thing is too, the piece that I think is even more interesting or intriguing about Bryson is his whole thing with the buoyancy of the balls. Like
Yeah.
it's a
That's insult. Yeah.
yeah, it's a crazy thing. But like I tried it and I marked like where the ball was for. I actually did it for the club championship that I played in before my daughter was born. And I'll tell you, when I put down the ball for putting, as far as like where that centerpiece is, you significantly do feel a difference. Even off the driver, it's like you feel kind of like when you hit a baseball bat, a wooden baseball bat, center, like right in the
Mm-hmm.
nails, right? It kind of feels like you miss it. Like it feels so
Right.
pure
Right.
and,
It
and,
feels
and
like
it's
you didn't hit anything because it's just
right.
so. Yeah.
It's so perfect. And I had that same feeling on number two with my three wood. I had it on number three with my driver, had it on number five. Like, I mean, you definitely can feel a big difference. And
That's
as far
wild.
as and as far as the ball staying on its line for
Mm-hmm.
putts, night and day. Night and day compared to where, how everyone just marks it right where that line is on a Titleist,
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
if
Yep.
you find where the center of the ball is and you mark that line right there, I promise you, you're gonna see a lot better end over end rolls.
Which is ultimately what you want. But that's
Yeah,
wild. I haven't tried that, but I might have to. But
I don't know what,
yeah,
but I know I just took up a bunch of time. But like, what do you think?
I think it's extremely petty. Like you said, it's annoying to this point of like they're just being so petty about it. Like, I know we don't like bringing up politics into this, but it's basically like a Democrat calling out like Republican. Like it's just like and the other side back and forth. It's like, dude, like stop being petty. Like we're all the same people here. Some people like things differently than others. We're all humans at the end of the day. And everybody, especially when it goes to golf, you want to see the best compete against the best consistently, not 4 times a year. You know,
Yeah.
who was to say Scottie Scheffler, if he has to play the best of the best week in, week out, doesn't add a little bit of pressure that might bring that scoring average up a shot or two? It doesn't take much to change around. I mean, I was thinking back to the first time that we played, not first time, but when I started getting back into golf after COVID with you at Riverside, and I shot like an 83. And I felt like I didn't play that well. I think I had like 7 par or something like that. Compared to like when I shot like a 7, I think like my best round after that for a while was like a 76. I finally broke 80. And that was like a 7-shot difference, but it felt like I shot under par. But like it
Hmm.
was only 7 shots. And like if you were to watch both guys play like neck and neck, you're like, oh, this guy on who shot the 83, he's not that good. But there's only like 6, 7 shots. And like it's really not that much. But golf is such a game that if you mess up with like one stroke, that's why strokes are so important when it comes to golfing. You win by one or lose by one, or you have a bad putt or a bad chip, or one bad shot can make or break you feeling like you shot the best that you ever had to. Oh man, like I really blew it. And I don't know. You really don't know. That's one of the questions that'll never be answered. The only one who can answer that is God. Hey, what would happen? Well, this is what would happen.
Yeah.
I know. But besides that, yeah, I mean, like there's no real way. I think that pressure builds diamonds. Obviously, pressure sucks from time to time because, I mean, some people are like, "Oh, I love watching a good game. I love it when it's like the players are the closest," and it's like, yeah, that's great if your guy isn't in contention and you want to watch something enjoyable. But if you're a
Hmm.
fan of one of these players, I would love, especially being a Cleveland Browns fan my whole life, I would love to watch my Browns dominate teams week in and week out for like 4 or 5 games, not have to stress instead of going
Yeah.
up like 24-14 and winning 27-24 on a walk-off field goal. Yeah, it's nice to get the win, but you're so stressed during that game that you really don't get to enjoy it because you know what I mean? Like, I mean, when you've been a Niner fan, probably don't understand too much about this because you guys meet a lot of guys a lot
No,
more often than we do. But
I
you
mean
have those
recently, but we've had some shitty years.
right, but you know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh,
Yeah.
like I'd rather have like a close game. Like if my Browns ever make it to the Super Bowl, I want them to blow the heck out of whoever they're playing, so I can
Yeah.
just be stoked and enjoy it and soak it all up instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm already having. No, I'm not having any heart issues, but being a Browns fan, it's not healthy. I'll tell you that
I
much.
mean, I mean that I mean that was me. That was me during the Giants. What they consider their dynasty year from 2010 to 2016
16.
or four
Mm-hmm.
or yeah
Yeah,
16.
16. Yeah.
Right? It was like, dude, the torture was legit. I mean, anytime that Brian Wilson came in, I mean, it was like, is he gonna finish this game or is he gonna give up a home run and bring him within
Yeah.
one? Or are they gonna tie it? Like, what's going on? I mean, you were on the edge of your seat every single game. Like the game that Travis Ishikawa hits that walk-off home run against the Seattle Cardinals to send them to the
You
World
did not
Series.
just you did not just say the Seattle Cardinals.
Or I'm sorry, the St. Louis Cardinals. My bad, my bad. But I mean, in that game, it's
Mhm,
like, okay, Travis was ice cold. I mean, he wasn't ice cold, but hitting the ball very well. Then
mhm,
all of a sudden, he comes in as a pinch hitter and tanks one over the right field fence,
mhm.
and everything just lets us, it's like, oh my god, we're going, this is crazy, you
Right,
know.
right.
I get it, I get that, but i I don't know, man. It's, to me, it's just weird after seeing such a dominance in the Ryder Cup, where at Whistling Straits, where Bryson DeChambeau just had probably one of the best performances in Ryder Cup history, to like now it's like, yeah, I'd love to see him play again, but
He
is
plays for
he?
Liv. It's like,
Yeah, but
is he even best in his best shape? Like, dude, shut up.
well,
Let him
but
play.
then, well, even think about this last year, right? Like they had a um Brooks Koepka, right? And it was just kind
Well,
of still like
they were forced
they
to because he
they
was
were
inside
forced.
the rankings.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like again, it's like, dude, it just frustrates me. Like I just think it's dumb. It's weird not to see those guys' names up there, especially
Mhm.
in events, and then you're seeing guys coming up who are like, who,
Right?
who, like,
Yeah.
where's Spieth, where's
Mhm. Oh,
where's
Justin
you know
Thomas for a
Francisco,
majority of
yeah,
the term.
yeah, where's Francesco Molinari, where's Finau, where's all these guys,
Mhm.
right? It's like, who is this? Who's this Koosh guy? I don't know. Like, who is
Right.
this dude?
Yeah, and
Right?
I think that yeah, no, I agree, and I feel like this leads us into the next segment, which the match, I believe is if they're calling it again, maybe. I don't know what the name is, but I think this will actually be probably the most interesting one with golfers only. Like the one that I actually might really want to tune into and watch a replay
Yeah.
of with Scottie Scheffler and Roy McIlroy facing off against Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. You're going to have, Scottie Scheffler is going to be very, very interesting to see how he is mic'd up always because
Hmm.
he is always so locked in, quiet, doesn't talk too much. Bryson DeChambeau's got a dang YouTube channel. He's there for the people. He's been
Yeah.
behind a camera for, a few years now, with this channel. Brooks, he's hilarious. He's done these before. And same with Bryson. Rory, he's done a few things. So, he's more comfortable with that too. But Scottie has been like, you never really seen
No.
how he plays and what he thinks about during a round. So it'll be interesting to see how he,
Yeah.
how he is.
I'm curious. Like, why did they choose Rory of all people? I
Because
mean,
it'll
Rory's
get the
just.
media going. I feel like he's a easy topic to create controversy or, storylines about. I don't know.
But I mean, they couldn't pick like Xander, someone who's
Or like
actually been
Max
playing.
Homa. Max Homa been hilarious.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
Max Homa. Yeah, Max Homa would be good. I mean, even
Xander's
Colin Morikawa. I
mm-hmm.
mean, I just feel like guys who are kind of like guys who have kind of earned it, who have played really well and have finished consistently within the top 10.
Yeah.
Where Rory's like, oh yeah, I have one great round. Everyone's like, oh my god, is he gonna do it? And he just blows it. Like, it's like, Rory, you've gotten yourself in such a golf political hole that it's just like, I just don't know if you're ever going to see sunlight again. Besides, you know, when you're on a tee box, I feel like that's where everyone's like, oh my god, here comes Rory's going to hit.
He's been like
Wow, and then
350 miles on a 350-yard bomb. Beautiful swing. And
yeah,
then he can't get it done on the.
put a wedge in his hand, comes up short, and then he flubs it in front, and then three putts. Like, you're just like us, Rory. Just go take some time, be with your kid, be with your wife, and like, I don't know, figure your shit out. But I that was the only thing that kind of bummed me out, was just seeing Rory. I mean, I know he's the guy who's like actively saying, "I hate live with a passion." Like, he always says it, and I'm
Mhm.
just kind of like, I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna fight somebody for wearing a live hat?
Oh,
Like,
dude.
dude,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's starting to come around more now in the sense that he's like, oh, I'm maturing. I feel like, what I said, now I'm thinking about it and yada, yada. And it's like, okay, yeah, people can make their decisions. They can admit that they're wrong at a certain time. But at the same time, like the damage has been done. It's kind of like the media when it's like they get their agenda. They take a 45-minute clip, turn it into 5 seconds, and then say, "Oh my gosh, look at this!" And then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, what just happened? Seriously, this really happened?" Whole outrage comes out of nowhere, and then
yeah,
2-3 days later, after the outrage has been talked about for a few days, the full thing comes out, and you're like, "Oh, really? That's really what he said after that? Like, or like what he meant, or whatever?" And you're like, but the damage has been done by that point. Sorry, like you've already kind of ruined these guys' egos, ruined their maybe not ruined careers or things like that, but definitely put a damper on them and gotten the golf world who PGA Tour loyalist wise, if they were behind the PGA Tour the whole way, no matter what, whatever Rory McIlroy says, yeah, he's right. And those people annoy me. The ones that are just like sheep and they just follow whatever it is instead of being like, you know what? If I were in this position, what would I do? It's like, oh, I'd be
hmm,
happy that I'm in the PGA Tour. Dude, shut up. If you had $100 million thrown at you playing golf, the game that you love, while still being able to make buku bucks on top of that while staying and seeing your family more and not having to travel consistently, be on the road. You're telling me that you would say no just because of the PGA Tour? Come on. Don't don't sit there and say it blindly yes. If you legitimately think about it, and unless you're Roy McIlroy or someone so doing so well like a Tiger Woods, like not now obviously, but like someone on that level like a Scottie Scheffler, you don't need that money obviously, but no one's going to say, "Oh, you're an idiot if you take it," unless you're someone sitting on a couch unemployed and just being a little keyboard warrior. It's
Yeah.
shut up, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Tiger should have taken.
Dude, $1 billion? Why not? Like,
yeah.
Why the heck? And then just go, and then
you would be. I mean, he would be literally Michael Jordan of golf right now. I mean, not that he already wasn't, but it's like,
right.
the innovation behind his shoes, all the bad publicity. He really just didn't put a lot of effort into it. But it's like, Tiger, your move to Sunday Red was atrocious. Like,
dude,
I don't think anybody's buying those shirts. It's not like the craze that they're so expensive, but it's like it's not even like the craze that it would be where you would see somebody wearing a TW shirt on the golf course and being like, man, that's nice. Now it's just like, yeah, it's skin and like just skeleton. Yeah, it kind of describes the rest of your career for now. Like, literally, I mean, it's sad to kind of say that because I mean, Tiger Woods' name, holds so much respect, but it's like it's just a bad move,
I agree. It's a bummer. I mean, especially with how iconic and honestly how well they did the Tiger Woods logo. The TW logo is such a beautifully designed logo. So simple, but just such a good look. Like so well done. And then you have Sunday Red and you're like,
it's a dead cat.
Like, what happened, man? Like, that like you went from that to this.
Were you on opioids when you made the decision on that design?
Gosh, I hope so. And sometimes you're like, I hope so, man, because that just
I
mean, I don't know, man. Like, you look at like the TW, I could wear that thing on anything. The hats, beautiful on the front, on the back, whatever, on the shirts.
Well, think of it this
awesome.
way. Like, think of it this way, and we're getting into something completely different now, but I'm just saying, like, you gave up royalties to like your shoes. Like, everybody on tour was wearing a TW, like had TW at some point on the bottom of their foot, like Scottie, right? I mean, dude, everybody was rocking it. And it's just like now it's like Jordan's not even really like that involved with basketball anymore. I mean, aside from Charlotte, but I mean, still, he's signing guys like Carmelo Anthony. I mean, Tatum, right? I like all these guys to the Jordan logo, right? Luka Doncic, like he's signing them to the Jordan logo.
College football teams, Michigan, North Carolina,
Michigan, yes, exactly.
Like Oklahoma, that are Jordan. And I remember seeing it. I remember seeing this.
He's got a NASCAR team.
Well, I'm not surprised, but dude, he has so at North Carolina, that's where he went, University of North Carolina. They had like these jerseys one year, and it had like the Jordan logo on the side of the helmet, like as the mascot, and it was like a light blue helmet with like a white Jordan. Then everyone's like, dude, that's so sick. And someone's like, nothing says I'm a football school by having a basketball player on their helmet. And I was like, that's actually pretty that's actually pretty smart. Like, you're trying to recruit guys. It's like, but we're really a basketball school. But like, here's but like, he's on freaking football helmets. And of course, like NASCAR, that's pretty huge. He has his own, amazing golf course, which is only which is probably funded by like a quarter of how much money he makes from Jordan sales in general.
Yeah.
Like he's just, him and like Shaq have like really done it really well when it comes to entrepreneur. And
Magic Johnson
obviously,
too.
Yeah, Magic Johnson. You can't go wrong with Tiger, but like, just what I think he was like the first one to implement like royalties from his own shoes, like back in like the 80s or whatever, at least based off of the movie that came out. But yeah, it's just the whole, what's that? You ever seen that photo of like a beautiful like horse drawn photo, and like on the back it's like made by like a 6-year-old? Like the front of the horse looks like beautiful, like the head down, like the front 2 legs, and then like the back 2 legs are like drawn in by like a 4-year-old. And it's basically like there's like a lot of funny like memes you can put up to where it's like Game of Thrones, the first like 8 seasons, and then the final season, basically, like, or like, Jordan Spieth, his first few years in the PGA Tour to the last few years, like things like that that
to
you're
the
just
present.
like, yeah, right. But like things like Tiger Woods' TW logo and then the Sunday Red logo,
Sunday, right?
where it
Yeah,
just looks like atrocious. And you wouldn't expect someone like Tiger to give that approval, but he did. And I don't know, man. He must be seeing something that I'm not seeing. It's over our heads. I don't know, but it's not doing it
yeah,
for me. I'll say that much.
none. And even with who was that guy? Anthony Kim, right? His shirts came out. I was a bit shocked with the price. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
Oh,
was a bit,
AK.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was a bit. I mean, I was excited to go get one, but then when I saw it, I was like,
like the
nah.
girl dad shirts or whatever,
Yep.
like those ones. Or yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, no,
I mean,
I'm gonna
everything
pass on that.
nowadays are like so stupid expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if someone's like promoting it because they got to make the shirts, plus they got to like the person who makes them has to make money, plus they got to make money on top of it. And then it's like instead of just having them plus like a Tiger where the shirt may be like 75, $80, now it's like 90, like $100 to $110 for something that maybe costs $30, maybe costs
Hmm.
$25,
Yeah.
maybe even cheaper than that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so regardless, I feel like it's a good spot to wrap up the pod for tonight. Feel like we were able to talk a lot of good golf stuff, and yeah, I mean, I got nothing else.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to hit the hay. Today's been a long day. Kids are
Kids,
bouncing too. Yeah, bouncing too is tough right now.
I'm sure, dude. Well, I'll be keeping you in my prayers for getting that sleep, man. But don't forget to stay fly and go low, everybody. We will see you guys next week.